Hi guys, so you have your block print all drawn on, you're ready to carve, but at this point you really need to stop and start to think, okay? If you just came here and just started carving stuff indiscriminately without really thinking about it, you could run into a lot of trouble where areas overlap, okay? So stop, think. What do you want to have printed? What do you want to have disappear, okay? When I look at my print the way it's drawn on here, I kind of naturally just want it to print exactly like the pen. So that tells me that all the pen stays and everything else needs to be carved away, okay? Let's look at some examples of some block prints that were done by students. That are some examples of good carving and not so good carving, okay? So if we look at these examples right here, what does it look like the students did? They drew their images on, and then all they did was they just carved away the pen, right? Yeah, it still works. It's gonna make a print, but is it that exciting of a print? Probably not. Let's look at those a little closer. Very kind of boring, okay? Versus these two examples right here, where they drew on their image and then they left the majority of it, right? There's some areas where you can see, like in the ear and these little lines, where they would have carved out the lines that they drew. But it's different, right? They left the majority of the elephant here. The background is carved away. Here, they did a great job with texture, leaving lines on the sides. But even the rope is very thought out, right? It looks like the pen marks stayed, everything else went away, okay? So this is a kind of pre-planning that we need to do. We need to look at all the elements of our design and decide what stays, what gets printed, and what disappears. Now everything that you leave on this one level is going to end up printing. So picture it with a, if I rolled black ink all over this, where would that ink stay and what parts of the design would stay, okay? So what I like to do to plan it out is to actually make a map for myself. I'll take a pencil and I will put some lines in the areas to mark out what needs to go. That way, while I'm carving and carving and carving and getting maybe a little distracted, I don't lose track of the overall design, right? So I know that all the background has to go. The inside circle that I have here, that could have stayed, and then I could have switched between leaving this here and then carving this out, but I think that it's just easier design-wise if I just get rid of all the pink, okay? And then I made a choice in the shirt here. Initially, I was just gonna carve over the actual lines, but I decided let's leave it thicker, so we'll go with every other stripe gets pulled off, okay? And then I have to go around my lettering. So this is a pretty intricate design. So basically here, all the blue stays, all the pink disappears, okay? Let's do the same thing. Let's look at this. I feel like I kind of want to do this the same, mostly because these two dogs, this is my dog, this is my sister's dog, they're very light colored dogs, so if we printed all of their face really dark with ink, it would just look weird. So probably all his face is gonna go. Now this is a problem here because he's got a little white mark on his face, but I think what needs to happen is just like everything else. The pink goes and the blue stays. So in these little areas here, here, all of that can go. And what you might want to do too while you're at it is maybe darken up some of these blue lines so that they're a little bit thicker. That will help when you're carving around, okay? Now this I actually put lines in while I colored it in, but I think I meant for it to be all the way blue, so that can stay. But this skin around here and in here, that will all go. So whenever I encounter an area that has these pencil marks, I know that it needs to be carved away. And then on the inside, I could actually flip this. I could only carve out the letters and then leave the banner. Maybe I'm gonna think about doing that for this one. But for now, the obvious stuff will go. Bye-bye, all of this is gonna go. okay? That's my little trick for a guide for me, okay? So if you guys are confused, you're not sure what should stay, what should go, come talk to me. We can plan it out. Any image can be kind of, you know, worked or adapted for this idea, okay? All right, guys, have fun.